The first thing that it ate was my cat. Not killed, but ate. I say that because there was no yowling, no blood, no frantic scrambling underneath the couch. Just a noise like somebody aggressively chewing gum in the dark, followed by a contented herk sound. A sound I later learned was important. I'd stood in the kitchen at 2 a.m, holding a glass of water I didn't remember pouring, listening to that sound echo from the laundry room. Very calmly, I'd said, "Whiskers?" The chewing stopped. And then something sniffed. The sniff had a weight to it, like lungs working overtime, wet and enthusiastic. The sort of sniff you hear from a dog that has just discovered a picnic basket full of unattended hot dogs. A shape rolled out from the laundry room and into the light. Rolled is the only word for it. It didn't slither or walk. It rolled like a ball. It was about the size of a basketball, covered in fur that looked singed at the tips, as though maybe it had escaped a fire or started one. Its mouth was the worst part. Not because it was huge, but because it was inconsistent. The mouth kept rearranging itself. Teeth slid around like they were jostling for position. Some were flat and some were needle thin. It blinked at me with 3 eyes. 2 were where they had belonged, I assume. One was a bit higher up, like it had sprouted later but never quite found a place. We stared at each other. And then it hiccuped. Out popped Whisker's bell. It hit the tile and rang once. The creature's eyes followed it, disappointed almost. I screamed. The creature screamed back, higher pitched, offended as though I had startled it. It lunged at me. I threw the glass of water at its face and it bounced off, accomplishing nothing except making the fur steam slightly. The thing skidded across the kitchen floor, slammed into the fridge, and immediately began gnawing on the door handle. I grabbed the nearest weapon, which turned out to be a loaf of bread. This is not the sort of moment you imagine when people say, "You don't know how you'll react in a crisis." I hit it with the bread. It bit the bread, and the entire loaf vanished in one go. Plastic and all. It paused and then spit out the twist tie with visible irritation. I ran as fast as I could. Up the stairs, I slammed my bedroom door, shoved my dresser in front of it, like that had ever stopped anything in a horror movie. I could hear it downstairs, rolling around and bumping into things, muttering in little chuffs and clicks. That's when the smell hit. Burnt hair and ozone, something like overcooked meat left in the sun. And then there was a thump at the door, and then another, and then scratching. And then it spoke. Not really with words, like sounds that wanted to be words, syllables that fell apart halfway through, like it had overheard language once, through a wall, and decided to improvise the rest.
Great.
Then cheerfully,
You?
I climbed out the window. I spent the rest of the night in my car, watching my house. Lights flickered on and off inside. Shadows passed by windows. At one point, something bounced off the roof and slid down the gutter. At about dawn, a second shape appeared. Smaller, rougher, missing fur and patches. It rolled up to the first and made that "hurt" sound. The original responded in kind. They circled each other. And then they both turned and looked straight at me in the car. The smaller one waved. I drove. I haven't been back since. The police said there were no signs of forced entry. Animal control laughed until I showed them Whisker's bell. Even then, they suggested raccoons. Very aggressive, very creative raccoons. I tried filing an insurance claim. The woman on the phone asked me to describe the damage. I told her the fridge handle was missing, the bread was gone, and my cat had been eaten, among various other bite marks all over everything in my house. There was a silence, then typing. And then she asked very carefully if I could confirm whether the animal involved had been domestic or wild. Wild, I'd said. Another pause. Species. I thought about the teeth, the eyes, the way it rolled around. Raccoons, I'd said. She accepted that without comment. The claim was denied. Hey there. Thank you for listening to this episode of Dead Air Theater. Too Many Teeth was written by Edward Baker, narrated by Edward Baker, sound design by Edward Baker. You see where I'm going with this? Anyway, I just want to thank you for listening. Some of these stories are really, really old. Some of them are much newer, and in the future, some may not even come from me. Some may not even be narrated by me, which will be exceptionally fun for me because I love playing with other people's audio. So follow the podcasts. There are tons of things coming. I'm working on a schedule right now. I put them together when I have some time. They're super fun to do. Time management, not so fun to do. So bear with me. There's a Discord link and all kinds of other stuff in the show notes if you are so inclined, if you are interested in doing all that stuff. That's enough yakking from me. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.